top down. R1 has a very wide tire. Don't mind these chicken strips. These are brand new tires pretty much. So I don't have to worry about my rotor touching when I lay it down. Other tires aren't going to be as wide. So you would want to put blocks underneath. Also make sure you don't lose your bearings. But as you see, my rotor doesn't touch the ground, so it's not going to get all scraped up. All right. So I'm using a 2132 on my socket. These should be relatively hard, so especially when your sprockets have been sitting out like the guy that previously owned mine. Holy crap. We're going to use a breaker bar. Much easier. Break all of them. You don't have to do a star pattern for taking it off, but remember when you tighten them, you should go in a star formation to make sure it's all seated evenly. And I can't stress it even more. Remember when you pick your tire up, make sure your axle bearing did not fall out the other end. You have 2 of these, which are very important. Alright, so remember, we've got all these washers underneath. These are important. These are all going to come off nice and easily. Just remember as you pull it off. Now granted, this is a little dirty, but make sure you have 6. I have 6. This sprocket, as you see, was in good shape, so we're going to save this guy for the future. Now, new JT sprocket. This is the same amount of teeth. We are not changing this. It should be 43. And as you see, it says right up here, 43. So, I'm going to get this guy on. Like I said earlier, pretty much writing comes out. Make sure everything fits, especially when you're ordering it. That's the worst thing, to order it, get to your bike, have to wait for the next product to come in because the original. All right, so remember we're going to tighten in a crisscross fashion. So we're going to start over here. I had all those on finger tight. Just keep going across. And like I said earlier, the reason I went with that sprocket change on the teeth was because these bikes, are ridiculously fast. I'd rather have some more fun in the range that I'm getting. So going down one tooth in the front is going to change your speedometer, but give you more acceleration, less top end. I decided to go with one down in the front instead of up in the back because I wanted it to be easier to maintain chain length. As well as it's relatively cheaper to change the front than the rear, and I'd rather be able to just swap in my front because fronts normally last longer than rears, and I expected my front sprocket, my original front sprocket, to be in better shape than the rear, which it is. So this way I want to change back because I don't like what I did. It's a relatively free change. So go over, make sure everything's tight. All right, that's all good. So next thing is to get this back on because you're going to have to feed the new chain through with this. So now we're just going to pop this guy off for now. This comes all the way off. Make sure you save all pieces. This is my lock nut. You got to make sure you save that. So as you can also see, this sprocket's really not bad condition. So I'm going to save these because there's really no hooking and spurring at all with this. You can see that the new sprocket, a lot smaller, good for weight savings. Normally, you have writing going outwards. As you can see, this is a JT 15 tooth steel sprocket, whereas here you can slightly see that it says 16 teeth, which is what we're doing. This is going to change my speedometer, obviously. However, also, this is a good time to inspect other things. As you see, there's really no play in there at all, which is very good. That means this sprocket, crankshaft, everything is in really good shape here. So we're going to slide the lock nut on first. See how this sits in the grooves with the crankshaft. There we go. And this bad boy comes right on. These tiny pieces are always the things that make these quick jobs long. Alright, put this on a little bit more softly this time. Very important piece of your motorcycle, so make sure you do it right. Okay, so we're not going to be able to tighten this until we get the rear wheel back on, because we have to do the thing with that. So that's not tight. You got to remember what's tight and what's not. Put the lock nut on after it's tightened. Alright guys, so now it's time for the new chain. I went with a slight blue. We're going to have to cut it. This is something you want to be very cautious about, because you only get one shot cutting this chain. So mine needs to be 114 links. So as you guys can see, if I line the front two up like this, over time, down like over here, just notice how they're unaligned because this chain is stretched. Alright guys, triple check your counts. I'm going to be cutting right here. It gives me 114 links once I put the master on. Really important, you only get one chance to cut it. Don't screw it. Now we are going to feed the chain in. Around the crankshaft sprocket. There we go.
I was doing just fine before I met you. I drank too much and that's an issue, but I'm okay. You tell your friends it was nice to meet them, but I hope I never see them again. I know it breaks your heart. Moved to the city in a broke down car. 4 years, no calls, now you're looking pretty in a hotel bar.